I would like to call this regular board meeting to order at 6 p.m. Can I get a roll call?
Here.
Sue Brogan.
Here.
Sharon Lanieri.
Here.
Larry
Smith.
Smith. Sorry.
Here.
I'm trying to. Evelyn Meeks.
Chris
Here. Jill Brogan.
Here.
Chris Arduino, recording secretary.
Troy Yarbrough, superintendent.
Shelley Winger, Human Resources.
Michelle, curriculum and instruction.
Josh Rand, Business and Operations.
Thank you. And would like to do the Pledge of Allegiance with Parker Center students. Ms. Anderson?
I'll go grab one.
Okay.
Good luck finding the little ones.
All right.
We have some of our Parker Pup friends from our OLA class today, so they're going to lead us in the pledge and our Parker Center Creed in English, and then they're going to do it in Spanish all by themselves. They just practiced it. So, are you guys ready? The flag's over here. The flag's over here. You guys ready?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I make
Parker Center a better place. I am respectful, I am safe, I am ready to learn. Prometo levantar a la bandera de los Estados Unidos de América y a la república que representa una nación ante Dios indivisible con libertad y justicia para todos. Yo hago Parker Center un mejor lugar. Soy respetuoso, cuidadoso y listo para aprender.
You all want to stand like actually where you're at. Actually, that's pretty good. This will work out. I can do that. Awesome. Thank you so much.
Wait, get parents. Get
Good
parents.
job, guys.
Thank you guys.
Great.
He's the best son ever.
Yeah,
That's impressive.
Bye, thank you.
they said it passionately.
Good job.
Thank you for coming.
Good job. Thank you. Bye now. Bye.
Give us just 1 second. We had to go grab something. She has a voice.
Leader.
Yeah.
Thank you. So cute.
Carla.
Can I get a motion and a second for the approval of the agenda?
No changes?
No, well, with the addendum.
What's the agenda? Okay.
Okay, the bottom. No changes.
All right. Motion?
Second. Mr. Thompson?
Aye.
Mrs. Rogan? Aye. Mrs. Ranieri?
Aye.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mrs. Meeks? Aye. Jill Brogan?
Aye. Okay, Dr. Yarbrough?
All right, so again, trying to follow up that pledge is hard to do. That was phenomenal. That was awesome. So the mission of the Harlem Consolidated School District as a vital part of the community is to help diverse learners realize their unlimited potential by providing an educational program dedicated to academic excellence and the development of strong character in a safe and respectful learning environment.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I get an approval of board meeting minutes from February 27th, 2023?
Motion. Second. Mrs. Rogan? Aye. Mrs. Ranieri?
Aye.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mrs. Meeks? Aye. Jill Brogan?
Aye.
Mr. Thompson?
Aye.
I'm going to turn it over to Jason Bloom for awards and recognitions.
We're doing some pep talks out in the hall.
Okay.
Right, oh, right here, yeah, right, no, bring your face down. Probably do run-throughs of this, but, well, it's exciting this evening. We've got a couple teams we get to recognize, some familiar teams that have had a lot of success over the years, and it's almost become an expectation that we get the opportunity to invite them to a board meeting. So, tonight, actually, for I think my first time ever, I've got one of the athletes that's going to be this team spokesperson tonight. They're going to introduce the team and their coach and all of their accomplishments from this season. So I'm going to turn it over to Ashlyn here and let her talk a little bit about the season. And I'll let all the athletes introduce themselves and tell you what grade they're in, and then we'll obviously celebrate this group. So.
Well, I'm Ashlyn Tevis. I'm a freshman, and then I think we just had like a really good season this year. We ended up being the conference champions, and then for regionals we placed second. We also placed second at sectionals, and then at state we ended up with a third place finish. And then I think just like as being a freshman, I learned a lot from like just being out there and just like from my team too. And I think overall it was just like a really great experience for like my first year.
I didn't realize you were a freshman, so
Yeah.
I don't know about that. So, well, you did a great job. So I'm going to let the rest of the team introduce themselves, and we'll congratulate them all.
My name is Alexis Bourne, and I'm a freshman.
My name's Riley Gilbert, and I'm a sophomore.
I'm Miranda Cleanse, and I'm a page.
I'm Stephanie Windsor and I'm a senior. I'm Haley Kerr and I'm a senior.
Mike Roth, assistant coach. We also have two girls not here today. Hannah, her class, and Allison Roberts. And Jimmy couldn't make it, he was sick, so.
Lindsay too.
And Lindsay Anderson, or Woolsey. But as Ashlyn said, it was a good year, finishing conference champs, and then we were kind of counted out at state, and we came back and got third place, so we're pretty happy with that.
Well, on behalf of the board and the Harlem School District and our community, congratulations to all of you. I know you want to put that down because you've been holding it for 20 years. You're getting tired, but congratulations on another fantastic season. We look forward to seeing some of you, most of you, back next year for another board meeting. So congratulations to all of you.
Yeah.
Can we get a photo real quick? And then we can put that thing down. Or if you want to set up for it, then. But we're going to turn around and face that way, and I'll take the photo, and if the board can come around.
You guys a favor, I'm gonna get it back.
Yeah. All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3. Let me get a quick photos quick. Good? So next up, I'm excited to introduce our varsity cheer squad here as state participants. Another great season. Again, another team that we're having the opportunity to invite back each year to our board meetings because of all the success they've had. And so I'm going to let them talk about their season, introduce themselves. I'm going to turn it over to Coach Rebecca first, and then if you want to talk a little bit about the season, and then we'll let them introduce themselves.
Sure. Hi, I'm Coach Bowwinkle. So we had a really successful season. We received the Nick 10 Sportsmanship Award for the first time in program history, so we're very, very proud of that because that just shows how well our kids behave, how well they get along with other coaches and athletes, and how much they love cheer and are, I think, positive representatives of the district, so we're very proud of that. We had 4 all-conference first team recipients and 1 special mention, so 5 kids in total on that all-conference team. We were conference runner-up, we placed 4th at our sectional, and then 17th at state. So overall, just very, very proud and very happy to have a successful season and end at the state series, because that's a special memory for them forever.
Awesome. Can you introduce yourself?
My name is Natalia. This is my first year of high school, so it's just like very overwhelming. And like the fact I got to be on a varsity team. The fact I got to be on a varsity.
Say you're a freshman.
Oh, I am a freshman. And the fact I got to be on a varsity team is just like very like exciting to me because I've been doing cheer since I was like very little, and I never knew I was be able to get here. So yeah.
Good job.
My name is Irie Ralph. I'm a sophomore. This is my 2nd year on Harlem cheer. I also do other sports, but I feel like going to state was my biggest moment as a Harlem athlete.
My name is Marissa Highland. I am a junior, and this is my 3rd year on the varsity cheer team. And I am just so proud of how far we've come, and we're such a small team that went in a large division at state.
My name is Jen Castillo. This is my 3rd year on the Harlem varsity cheer team, and I'm a junior. I've been cheering for 10 years now, and I am so excited and so happy that I got to spend this year with all these amazing teammates.
My name is Lauren Milanis. I'm a junior, and this is my 1st year on Harlem varsity cheer. And the season was amazing. I'm so happy that I got to compete with them.
I am Brianna Schaefer, and I am a senior. I'm going to be attending UW Whitewater in the fall, and I'm going to be studying psychology, and I plan on cheering as well.
I'm Kylie Simone, and I'm a senior, and I am going to be attending UW Whitewater in the fall and studying education, and I will also be cheering.
My name's Aaron Penna. I am, I would say, this is like my 1st year on varsity, I would say, like full year. My plans are to attend Iowa Central Community College, and I would go ahead and major in nursing while also cheering there. So.
Awesome.
Very proud of you.
Sydney Desario is one of our assistant coaches too, so she's been very supportive and helped out a lot with our team, so we wanted, of course, for her to be here too. For that. He's on cover.
All right, well, congratulations. So we're going to do a photo as well. So if you want to come to this area and then face that way.
Picture right now. Back out.
Do you want us to do you want us to that's super impressive.
Did they have to figure out the
Oh my God.
It's short. It's fine.
There we go. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Nice job. Awesome.
Oh, there we go.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you.
I'm going to send this. Thank you for coming.
I'm every
definitely not last but least, but we're excited tonight to introduce another team that, again, has had a lot of recent success. We've had the opportunity to invite them back, multiple board meetings, and so here we have our state competing dance team from Harlem High School. I'm going to introduce Summer. Oh wait, you said you weren't going to talk about it.
I will.
Okay, so Summer's going to, I don't get confused, right, who wants to talk about it? Everybody's fighting for it. So I'll introduce Summer Henderson, their coach, and then she'll talk a little about the season.
So we had a great season this year. We're missing 3 girls. We're missing our senior Zeta Davidson, our junior Zoe Shields, and Skylar Rodatis, our junior. Chelsea is my assistant coach. This is my 13th year coaching. We came in second at Nick 10, came in second at sectionals, which we have never scored that high at sectionals before, and we were only like 0.3 away from winning sectionals, which is crazy. And then we obviously got down to state this year, so didn't make it to day 2, but they danced really, really, really well, so very proud of them. Yep.
Well, now it's your turn to introduce yourself.
Oh, my name's Kaylee Jacobson. This is my 3rd year on the team, and I'm a junior.
My name is Haley Swanson. This is my 2nd year on the team, and I'm a sophomore.
My name is Annika Swanson. This is my 4th year on the team, and I'm going to University of Illinois next fall, just under the general studies, but I'm planning on being an Illini on the dance team as well.
Yeah, awesome.
I'm Natalie Kelmer. This is my 1st year on the team, and I'm a freshman.
My name's Bella Berger. I'm a junior, and this is my 3rd year on the team.
Awesome. Well, congratulations to all of you. I think on this like massive stage in front of all these people, but this is like the most terrifying thing. It is, but thank you. You guys did a great job. So I'm gonna have you all wait for too far. So if you stand here and look this way, and I'm gonna turn around and take a photo and have it work.
Yeah, I'm
sure.
short.
So easy to remember, so. All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3. Good?
Yes, little pigs. Yep.
See you later.
Bye.
Now we're going to do comments from the community. We have one comment tonight. Megan Hastings. You'll have 3 minutes, and then we can't have the dialogue back and forth, but if there's a follow-up needed, you'll be contacted by the board or the superintendent.
For those of you who have not met me yet, my name is Megan Hastings. I am running for a board seat. Tonight I'm here as a parent. I just wanted to be fully transparent with everybody. My kids go to Loves Park Elementary, so I'm here to speak on behalf of my kids' experience as well as some of the faculty we've become close with over the last 4 years of their school career. The sudden removal of Lisa Clark was really difficult. On the kids, it was difficult on the faculty, and I know you are limited in what you can say. I just wanted to kind of be here to speak on behalf of my kids' experience and some of the faculty I've spoken to. My kids, Lisa has seen them through an adoption. She has seen them through a chronic illness. Our youngest was diagnosed with epilepsy last year. Lisa was there every step of the way. Along with Lisa, Miss Castillo, Miss Frizella, Miss Larson, and Miss Guthrie have just made their school careers the best that they can be. And we we hold Loves Park Elementary and their faculty and administration in a very high regard. They feel like a family. These past 5 weeks, you felt the shift. It's been tough. And it's been tough not only for the teachers, but the students. My kids are both biracial, and unfortunately, they've had some issues because of the color of their skin, which really bothers me. we didn't have those issues 5 weeks ago. We haven't had those issues for the last 4 years, and I'm sorry if I get emotional. It's my kids. But I'm asking for the board's support in restoring that culture and making sure that the administration and the faculty at Loves Park have support after losing such a pillar to their community. The kids are sad, the teachers are sad, the parents are sad, and I know you guys are limited, and I just want to make sure that you guys have eyes on it and that school has you rallying around it. I don't want them to get lost. That's all I have to say. Thank you for hearing me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Turn it over to Josh for approval of the bills.
All right, thank you very much. The total payables this period were $731,163.90. There was one payroll this period for the amount of $3,421,597.68 for a total expenditures of $4,152,761.58. Split out by fund, the education fund paid $3,637,492.93. The tort fund paid $3,103.54. The operations and maintenance fund paid $189,990.56. The debt service fund paid $300. The transportation fund paid $190,578.88. The IMRF Social Security Fund paid $120,717.67. The Capital Projects Fund paid $8,106. And the Working Cash Fund paid $2,472. Again, for total expenditures of $4,152,761.58. Are there any unanswered bill questions? That's it for the bills.
Thank you. All right, communications and committee reports. Oh, motion? Can I get a motion for the approval of the bills?
Motion.
Second. Mrs. Brogan? Abstain. Mrs. Ranieri?
Aye.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mrs. Meeks? Aye. Jill Brogan?
Aye.
Mr. Thompson?
Aye.
Okay, communications and committee reports. Mr. Sterling is not here, so I will read his. The next regular board meeting is April 11th, 2023 at 6 p.m. The next policy committee meeting will be April 17th, 2023 at 6 p.m. We will have a recommendation to schedule a special board meeting. That date is to be determined.
Oh, we're gonna do 5?
Yeah.
It's a conflict with the time, so we gotta talk.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
gotcha.
I have a recommendation to approve first readings of February 21st, 2023 policy committee recommendations. I read that, the next policy committee. I just want to say thank you to our Parker Center students. They did a wonderful job. Loved their voices. They were so boisterous and loud and excited, and it was great to see. Congratulations to all of our teams that were recognized tonight. I've actually been able to see, the fight that girls bowling had and how wonderful they did. I was able to actually go down to Bloomington and watch varsity cheer at state, and that was a wonderful experience. The crowds were awesome, and then same with dance. I mean, their performances always end up making me cry. So I get emotional just watching the dance team. They're wonderful. So great job to all of them, and that is all I have. So moving on to Ms. Meeks.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Mrs. Anderson, for the Parker students. They did an amazing job, and wow. I mean, they were all clear, and especially the one young lady. She was truly excited. But all of them were, but they were really, it's just nice to be able to be in person again with all the students from all different ages and different grades and schools and stuff. So thank you for that. Also, I want to thank you, Mrs. Hastings, for your comments and your concerns. I truly do appreciate it. Also, I want to say congratulations to the cheer team, the dance team, the bowling, all the cheer teams, the bowling and everything. Harlem is just lucky with all the athletes that we have in this area. We have some really good, strong athletes they work really hard to get to where they get. So I want to wish them continued success, especially the ones that are graduating and going on to college. And then for the girls to get that sportsmanship award, that says a lot. And when you can get something like that, that speaks highly of your character. So congratulations on being the first, and that makes Harlem look really, really good. So definitely appreciate that. Also, I was able to attend the YWCA Leader Luncheon, and the speaker was Jude, what's her name? Jude Chang.
Juju Chang.
Juju Chang, and she's on television on like I'm trying to think of the name of I can't think of the name of the shows, like what is it, like this, not Discovery, you know, like the police things, almost like the ID channel. You guys ever see that? But she's on like nightly news or something like that, where she does different cases. She was really good speaking on racism and equality. It was really good. The food was excellent, so it was a really nice event. Also, this Thursday, March 16th, will be our equity meeting at the high school and W145. So thank you again. And the artwork is nice. I might have said that last time, but I'll keep saying it every time I come in. It's nice, but thank you guys and have a good evening.
Mr. Thompson?
Sure. Thanks to Aaron Anderson and the students from HOLA. It's great to see them and all their voices hear the pledge that way. Also, thank you for all the hard work for preparing and doing everything for the Golden Apple this year. Keeping the secrets, all the running around. How many people, I believe, were in your office? There's,
I don't even know.
I picture clowns in a clown car. At least 100 people came out of that office. So thanks for giving that up and all that hard work. Thanks to Ms. Hastings, the community support, and calling out any issues so that we're aware is very important. And encourages, as we always do, anyone from the community to come in and speak their piece that way. Let's see, congratulations to all the sports, the dance, the cheer, the girls bowling. It's great to celebrate so much and to have so much time devoted to all those great accomplishments, and I can't wait to hear even more to come. Also, let's see here, congratulations to all the teachers for the Golden Apple, including those that were in the top 20. They did not win, but that doesn't make their accomplishments any less. It's a hard challenge. That would be Kelly Blank and Michelle Van Wambach, so congratulations to them. Also, I get to brag my wife up, the winner of the Golden Apple, and I believe I heard the first winner from Parker Center?
Yeah.
Is that right? That's fantastic. So,
Look at the smile on his face.
Right? It's hard, so congratulations to her. Additionally to that, I was able to attend the education meeting. This is the first one I made for a little while. I needed to change that. Larry does a great job. I just wanted to not steal any of your thunder, but being able to attend that. I really like the new format, the participation of everyone that's there, identifying the challenges and how to target to correct them, as well as, you know, calling out some of the accomplishments, things that we've really done to that really helps. As well, sort of the being able to put together some of the data so that we can see that and explain that here. Realistically, if you don't come to some of those meetings, there's some great information, and we'll be going over that more. And then our business services meeting, as always, packed house. It was great. But again, important stuff coming from that, making sure people come. Some highlights from that. I'm sure Josh will get into this as well, but interest rates are really helping that, as well as getting our payments on the food services coming in. It really puts us into the green, and if not, I'm glad Josh was to tell us that as well. And then the hard work, calling out issues. We'll go through some of the proposal today on some of the security things for our CTE program, and going back, taking our feedback, and trying to find the best price so we do what's right for security and keeping those costs down. Outside of that, the next opportunity, if you can find a seat for the business services meeting, will be April 5th, 2023, right back here at 6 p.m. That concludes my report. Thanks, guys.
Can I say something? I knew I was forgetting something, but I did also attend.
Yes, I didn't even thank you guys for
So I
running
want to
as
say
well.
congratulations to Miranda Thompson. She was definitely surprised. And all the people that were there, you know, to congratulate her. So it's really nice that Harlem, we are still getting teachers from this area that are receiving the Golden Apple every year. So congratulations to you.
And all the previous, well, a portion of the previous winners were even there to congratulate her as well. It was great to see just not board members, but teachers and former winners, the administration. Again, 100 people, I believe, in that tiny office. It was great to see that, and members of the community.
Yeah, so congratulations again to you.
Mr. Smith?
Yeah, thank you to the Parker Center pups. It was terrific seeing them do the pledge. Thank you, Ms. Anderson, for bringing that group in. They did a terrific job. Yes, congratulations again to Miranda Thompson. That's 2 Golden Apple Award winners in the last 3 years.
It was last year and then this year.
Oh,
and
last
then,
year and this year.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's pretty impressive, and I think it's really indicative of the quality of the education that students get here in the Harlem School District. Is we have tremendous educators, we have tremendous parents, we have tremendous students. So, thank you very much. It was terrific. It is terrific, and I think as a community, the high functioning community that we have, we need to make sure that we are constantly sending that message to our students at the time when they are impressionable, that it is not okay to hurt other people. We owe that not just to our kids, but to society, to let them know that that's not the way that things are supposed to happen. We don't hurt one another. We strive to be excellent, like our bowling team and our dance team and our cheer team. It's wonderful to see that they were recognized for their sportsmanship. That's what we should be recognized for, is for our fair play and not hurting one another. So the next education committee meeting, Mr. Thompson, if you think the last one was something, you just wait until April 25th at 6 o'clock right here. And I really look forward to Dr. Erb sharing some of the stuff from the last meeting here today, because they're very thoughtful people that work within this district. And when they're and they work towards those objectives, and those objectives are the students learning, and they do a terrific job. So thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Brogan?
Good evening, everyone. I also would like to thank Mrs. Anderson and the Parker Pups. They did a wonderful job. Keep encouraging her to continue on with her voice. Congratulations to the girls bowling, varsity cheer, dance. I'd like to wish good luck to Bree and Kylie and Aaron as they move on, and Zeta and Annika as they move on. And I'm sorry I missed the dance, I think it was, of who was moving on. Congratulations to Mrs. Thompson for the Golden Apple. So much going on so often. Remember, watch your schools for their family food nights out at the special restaurants that gets the school's donations. It's always a nice opportunity to not have to cook dinner and get out and get a meal. And it's nice to see your kids interact with other kids that go out there at the same time. So I encourage everybody to keep up on that and continue doing that. And I think that ends my report at the moment. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Ranieri?
Good evening, everyone. Great job, Parker Pups. I think you have a leader there. I think that was the most enthusiastic group that we've seen this year, for sure. Adorable. Thank you, Megan, for giving us your...
I'm sorry.
Also, great job to you know, for the Golden Apple Award for Miranda.
Not me, yeah, for Miranda.
Miranda. I attended that. I also attended the YWCA. That was very good, talking about what she had to deal with racism growing up. Great job to all the teams. They did a great job. I love seeing that they're gonna continue with their sport in college too, so that's a great job. And that ends my report.
I forgot one thing, and I forgot it last time as well, and this would just be the Kaleidoscope concert from almost a month ago now, how great that was, and the fact that we got Mr. Dredge to come back and MC that. It was fantastic, and I forgot it last time, and I almost forgot it this time, but all the talent that we have with our band members and singers is amazing, so it's great a chance to see that, and apologize for forgetting about it almost twice. Thanks.
Thank you. Moving on to administrative reports. Dr. Erb?
Thank you. I do want to add to the whole Golden Apple thing, how proud the students were of their teacher as well.
Yeah.
And how excited they were for her. That was wonderful to see. As Mr. Thompson said, yes, it was quite a education committee meeting that administrators were actually talking about the day following, how much they enjoyed the probing questions that you had asked and the conversations that were taking place. So thank you, Mr. Smith. At that meeting, 4 of our buildings went over their school improvement plans in quite some detail going through them. So tonight I am going to ask for approval of those. And then as Mr. Smith has shared, there are some successes that we'd like to just kind of showcase for you guys. Let's see how well technology chooses to work for me tonight. It's a 50-50 shot quite often.
Mike's standing just messing with her. Look, he's messing with it.
I feel like I'm back in the classroom every time.
Hey, there we go. You had to wait for the tech guy to stand up.
Too, and I could get it to work for me, so. So here we're really gonna focus on some of the successes towards, and progress towards school improvement planning. One thing I'd like everybody to know, I'm showcasing 3 things that each of the groups focused on. It does not mean these are the only 3 successes that are taking place. If Mr. Smith would have allowed the whole meeting to be that way, they could have talked forever, but there were 3 specific things that each of the groups looked at. The first one being attendance, and one of the things that we talked about with attendance is that there still is really a struggle out there improving our attendance rate. There's a couple reasons for that. One of those is with the CDC guidelines, if you test positive for COVID, you're out for 5 days. The second one is we just got done having the guidelines of being told, if you have any of these symptoms, you should stay home for this period of time. So when kids are not feeling well, they are staying home. So our attendance rate before, if you think about what we did pre-pandemic, we fight through it, adults and students. And so we still are trying to find that happy medium of trying to get them to school, because we know that that's where they're safe, we know that they're getting fed, we know that we're educating them, we know that we're taking care of them. So that's one of the struggles. But what we have found to be really some things that are working is some positive recognition, calling out parents and finding out why are their students not at school. That's one of the big things a lot of our buildings talked about trying to do, and get the wraparound services for them. So if it is that they're having problems and we need to hook them up with our safety program and Sherry Tucker, we do so. Or if we need the social worker to follow up, we do so. So that was another thing that we found was working. Something that I found interesting to help keep kids in class is that in some of our buildings they have started having the nurses make rounds. So they put something outside the door indicating that there's a student who would like to see the nurse. and they go around the building a few times a day, so the students are not sitting waiting for the nurse to be available while she's working with other students. The nurse is actually going to the student and keeping them in the classroom as long as possible. And then the other thing that we hadn't done the past couple of years were the attendance letters, just kind of reminding families the importance of being at school, and hopefully that turns around behaviors, but if not, continuing forward with the process of pulling in the truancy interventionist if needed. And after getting the letters sent home, a lot of families have said, oops, I didn't realize that we had missed this much, or whatever the case may have been, and been calling the school, so that was one of the highlights. As far as reading instruction goes, if you remember last meeting, Dr. Yarbrough shared about the SOAR program, which had the student mentoring. We spent a lot of time talking about that particular program that Olson Park has also received positive feedback from their parents. But the other big thing that's been working for us is Becky Logan has done some trainings on the science of reading, and then if you recall, I had requested some training for letters training. Well, that lines up exactly with the science of reading, and staff has said that they have seen that to be a positive benefit for their students. The third focus area was community and belonging, and some things that the buildings have been doing there was having some birthday boards to recognize students on their special day. We found that in some buildings, students, that was the only thing they were getting called down and they were getting something from the office, and that may have been their only gift that they were getting for the day, and so that was helping with the belonging. Some of our buildings have gone to Student and Staff of the Week, where they're recognizing just positive accomplishments. Incentive days and dress-up days, they have determined or realized through analyzing their data that attendance is up and behaviors are down on dress-up days. Where, sometimes the concern is, well, if we allow them to wear this or we allow this, we are afraid of what behaviors may happen. And each of our buildings reported out that they have noticed that when they have an incentive or a dress-up day that they aren't seeing behaviors, and attendance has been really positive. It was Maple that said when they went to go see the Nutcracker, it was like almost every kid showed up to school that day. And then something that has helped at the high school, they have had music in the halls during passing time, and they said you can even use some of your pride tokens to pick some of the music, and that has changed some of the culture within our hallways. So those are just a few of the things that to showcase. Hopefully we'll have an opportunity to do some more of that, because Mr. Smith randomly chose 3 buildings and some of their focuses, and those were things we talked about, and we have similarities and differences within each of our plans.
Dr. Erb, is any of that music in the hallways from the band, the Eagles?
Eagles? I don't know, I bet you
Should be.
after last meeting, I bet you there is some Eagles that was being played. For those of you who were not there, we did have a conversation about the Eagles and our favorite songs. One of the things that Mr. Smith had asked me to also share with the board, and this is for informational purposes, is that he had reached out and he said, hey, could you please pull together the data by offense code. Offense code is when there is a discipline infraction, you code it based off of what infraction that is. And so that's what we ended up doing. So Mr. Smith gave me a series of different years, and I believe the reason why he chose the years that he did, we skipped the 20, which would have been the 1920 school year, because we wouldn't be able to see second semester's data. And then the following year, that 1920 year, you had half the students here. We knew the discipline was different. This was closer to give us apples to apples view. And so what we were looking for when we looked at this data was, do we notice major discrepancies from before the pandemic to now? We hear all sorts of things about behaviors, and we're always trying to analyze and try to help support students the best that we could, or that we can. And so we went through each of these different groups, and there's a few slides because I couldn't fit it all on one. Switch to the next one. Just give people a chance to sit and look. And while this slide's up, two of the areas that we really talked about was the fighting and the MDIs to see if the major disruptions have gone up, as well as insubordinations. We have noticed that insubordinations have gone down where MDIs have gone up, which are your major disruptions. But our fighting is about the same as it's been. I mean, there is no major difference now compared to pre-pandemic. I'm just going to go to the other slide as well. But overall, as we analyzed our data, there was no major change. Mr. Smith also asked if I could pull out arrests and refer to juvenile authorities. And I had this slide here, and I pointed out that this does not include the middle school before at that 17, 18, or 19 school year. And Mr. Thompson said, how difficult would that be? So Mr. Smith said, hey, can you pull that form together so we can just look at the high school? And that's just the high school data. So again, if you look, 19 was before going into that pandemic. That would have been the 18-19 school year. And where we are right now, it's very much at the same place.
Nikki, can you refresh my memory? When did we move the H9 campus up to the high school? Was it 17 or 16?
Oh, that's a great question. It all blends together at this point. Sue, can you think of?
What was the question? I'm sorry.
The year that the
When we
ninth grade
transitioned.
went back to the main campus.
That would have been the 18-19 school year.
4 years ago.
Right.
So the 18-19 numbers, would that include the H9 campus or just the high school?
All of these would include, so whenever we reported out when we had H9, whenever I pull high school numbers, it includes both, because I pulled the camp. I pull entity 400, not particular buildings.
So all of those are all 4 years represented.
Yes, and they're all 9, yes, all 9 through 12.
Can you explain the difference between arrests and referral to juvenile authorities and how that?
Age. It all comes down to your age. So once you are 18 years of age, that's when it's considered an arrest. When you are 17 or younger, that's when it's referred to juvenile authorities. And so that's the main difference. So those are just some key points that Mr. Smith had asked to share. Again, just like Mr. Smith says, you're always welcome to join us. But while we were sharing positives, one of the things that came up was our preschool programming, and there she is. And so I really feel like it is a highlight in our district, and there's a lot that, thanks to the board, we have in place. And so just like over a couple days period of time, she pulled this stuff together.
So this is one of my very favorite things to talk about, and I can talk really fast when I get excited, so like give me a signal if I have lost you and you have no idea where I'm going with anything. So really just highlighting the importance of early education. It can really shape that love of learning, and it can shape a child's entire future if they have that positive, effective early learnings. It impacts their social emotional growth, their opportunities to problem solve, to work with others. And as they have, as brain research has developed and they have been able to really study babies, they have found the importance of the first 3 years. So kind of thinking about that, like that's before they even get to us in preschool. Those first 3 years are critical. for children's success. So first we're going to talk about the PFA program, and then I am going to talk about our Birth to 3 Prevention Initiative program as well. And both of those programs recently just finished their audits in February. They were at the exact same time. It was very fun.
But we survived.
We made it. So we are waiting for those results to come back from the state so that we know what areas we need to improve on and what celebrations that we have in both of those programs. So our preschool program is housed at Parker Center and at Maple. The program is split just for size purposes. We can't fit it all in one location unless Josh wants to give me an addition. I gotta keep trying. So we do have, currently we have 4 preschool classrooms at Parker Center and then 2 self-contained classrooms, and Maple has 5 sections. We are flipping the 5th section back to Parker Center next year to kind of help with our ratios. So this is our mission, and I'm not going to read it to you, but it talks about student academic and social emotional growth, which, back to that first slide, is why the early education those years are so very important. And so our mission really kind of aligns right with that. So
and I just want to point out, she said we were bringing that 5th section back for numbers. That's because within our self-contained program, we're pushing so many of our students into that general setting at such a young age that we need that additional section, which is something wonderful that doesn't always happen, but our teachers are really trying to have students in our self-contained programs with their peers.
We actually have 13 preschool students dual placed this year. So they spend a portion of the day in their self-contained classroom, and they spend a portion of their day in a gen ed classroom with their peers. So we're really excited about that. We have not had numbers like that the entire time that I've been there, and even before me, we weren't pushing that many kids out into gen ed. So that is super exciting. Our Preschool for All, we have 9 teachers, so we have 18 sections under that grant. Our capacity is 360, and we had 115 students on the wait list, but they had child find last week, and so we now have 135 children on the wait list. Some of those children are in various stages of registration, but we can only fit 360, and that's 3- and 4-year-olds in our entire community. And that's, we've maxed out with our grant. And unfortunately, this was a year where we could rewrite and get more funds, and they decided, never mind, for the next 2 years, you're just gonna stay static with the funds that we awarded you back in the, 18-19 year. So there is a considerable amount of students on our wait list. 135 is a huge number, and there's another child find next week, where there will likely increase that number. We are full. So with the students that are in the various stages of testing and registration, we are full at our 360. So as more kids come in, we don't have room for them. Not everybody knows about this piece of it, so not only do we have the preschool program, we have different parent supports that are offered as part of our preschool program. Each site has a family support specialist that focuses, and here's them, they don't know they're in the presentation. This is Dee, she is at Parker Center, and Melissa is at Maple, and they do things like offer class and sessions. So every other month, families in the preschool program are invited to come in and do literacy and numeracy activities with their child, which is really exciting because then they get to see how are their child interacting with others. They get to learn about things that they could do at home. They do a wonderful job of using activities or materials that you could find at home so that parents can replicate these types of learning experiences for their children. They have a lending library. Every Thursday you will see their van parked at Parker Center in Maple, where they have different books, activities, games, things that they loan out to the families in the preschool program that they can use in their home because it is an at-risk program, so we want to make sure that we have materials for families. They help transition into preschool, and then they help them transition into kindergarten after they leave preschool. So they're really kind of there to help support the families, answer questions that the families might have, and even just be that familiar face. They give tours because preschoolers come in when they turn 3. So it's not like the majority of our students that start in August. We have one starting on Wednesday. We have one start today. On their 3rd birthday, they're able to start. So they offer tours for the families. And so they're that familiar face. So when they drop them off the first day, you're dropping your 3-year-old baby off. Outside of the school, you have that familiar face, that person that you've kind of connected with and met with. So they offer that. They send family newsletters. They do monthly family nights that they rotate between the 2 schools just to bring in different activities that the families can do, and then they can do home visits with families, with the teachers if needed as well. Are there any questions about the preschool program? And and I did. All of the board has them, and there's more if anyone needs them. Speaking about preschool to kindergarten, we have our annual kindergarten registration event coming up on June 5th, 6th, and 7th. So if you know of anybody that has a 5-year-old that is not in our preschool program, we encourage them to come to our registration event, because then they get to see the building, they get to meet some of the staff, we get some information on them, and the parents get to register. So Jason brings a team over, they can register, they can tour the building, they can meet some staff, and it just really kind of helps them more comfortable the first day. So our other program is our Prevention Initiative program, and these ladies work with prenatal to 3-year-olds. So that's sort of where I was talking, like brain research has really shown those first 3 years of life are incredibly important. This program received the Quality Confirmation Certificate in November of this past year, which is huge. We have never received that before. Anybody that's ever been through a state audit, this quality confirmation process is 300 times harder. They had to submit videos, there were interviews, they went through files, every piece of data that we have entered into their system, and have deemed the program a quality program. So that was really exciting for this program.
And for the board, how many of these programs are in school districts? At least around here.
Around here that use Baby Talk curriculum, there are,
No, the PI programs.
us in Rockford.
Yes.
So,
So
Belvedere,
Northern
Glasgow,
Illinois
Rockton,
area.
like, it's us in Rockford.
Wow.
Wow. So it is really exciting, that we are able to offer it for our families, because Rockford can only offer it to their families, and so, this is a really great program too. So again, the birth to 3, it just helps build those positive relationships among children, family, school, and community. So this program, and I know that some of you may remember that Dr. Erb has come to you every year for the past 2 years and added a position to our birth to 3 program. We have 6 family support specialists right now. One is only a .75. We weren't able to make her full-time with our grant allocation, but we do have a bilingual family support specialist this year. So this is the very first year that we've been able to support families that Spanish is their native language that don't also speak English. Our capacity is 105 children. We currently have enrolled 105 children, and we are working with 95 families. So these are from prenatal to 3 years old. As soon as they turn 3, they can transition into preschool. 3 of those are prenatal, so we are, they're in various stages of getting ready to have their babies, and then their baby comes into the program. And I have them pull a number for me that I wanted to share. 72 of the 105 children joined our program at 18 months or younger. So that is a lot of little ones that we were able to catch at a very early age. For a while there, we were seeing a trend. It was more of that like 2, 2.5, because they really like that they get those points for the preschool spot. But we have seen a huge shift this year, and 72 of the families came to us at 18 months or younger, which is really exciting. 5 of our families are Spanish speaking only, and so they are working with our bilingual family support specialist. We have 6 on the wait list. We have 7 screenings scheduled for this week, and again, we're at our capacity, so we've also maxed out that program. Total this year with children and prenatal, we have serviced 115 families, because as they turn 3, they transition out, so it's kind of always a revolving number, but we've already served 10 more children than we had asked the grant for.
And we chose those numbers for the grant. So as you have agreed to us increasing staff, we have put our goal numbers as being higher.
Yes, because when we first wrote it, in the 2011-12 school year was the first year, we wrote for 60 children. And then in the 19-20 school year, they increased it to 80. Last year, we increased it to 90. And then this year, we were able to hire a .75, and we increased it to 105. So as we've increased the number that we've been able to service, we have met that. So we're not just increasing them and then not filling these spots. We have more than filled these spots. But with them freezing our grant funding, we have maxed out at 105. We will not be able to bring anybody else in. Some of their supports, they either meet with families weekly or bi-weekly at their home, so they do home visits. They provide activities. They're really promoting parent-child interaction, bonding and attachment, child development. They do a ton with community referrals. They work with WIC. They just signed a partnership with a dental office that gets families set up. They do referrals to Carpenter's Place. They have all sorts of MOUs where they refer to different community services that our families may need. I was talking with one home visitor today, and she helped a mom get set up at a doctor's appointment and then called for the medical transportation because the parent doesn't have a vehicle. So they do all of those things to help support our families and our youngest learners, and then they help with the transition process as they move into preschool. They also do group encounters, which is really great because then you get to see families bonding and making a community and helping each other out. They do coffee chats monthly. We used to do these standalone. Our attendance was not phenomenal. There's things like sleep habits, routines, schedules, those types of things. We have now tagged those into playgroup, and our attendance has increased in our birth to 3. They do playgroups twice a week, once at the library that is open to anyone, and then they do a playgroup at the church next door to us that's open just to our program. They do monthly family nights. We have an advisory panel where we've invited families that are part of our program to come in, give us feedback, suggestions, to kind of, improve what can we do, what are you missing, and one thing that we have found that is missing is just a parent support group. And so that's something that they're working on trying to put into place for next year. Just a time for them to talk with each other, share their struggles, and they also go on field trips. They've been to the apple orchard. This week they're going to Kids Spot, and so they organize different field trips for families so that they can check out different places in the community. Next year we are also looking at bringing back a program with the high school. They had it previously where the family support specialists would come in and talk to teen parents. They do not want it to be teen moms, they want it to be teen parents. And so they're working with the social workers and the counselors to bring that back next year as well. If you know of anybody that is prenatal to 3 and lives in the Harlem School District, this fancy QR code, that email or my email or this flyer will get you hooked up with the referral for this program as well. So we are very, very proud of both of these programs, and we have phenomenal staff that are doing great things for the families that we're able to service. So thank you for your increasing of the positions, and thank you for my future.
I have a quick question on this. So it keeps growing, right? And we're working on those funds. Do we know tentatively, let's say funds are always an issue, but let's say funds are not an issue. Do we have a cap for just space on this program? Like we have a theoretical max as things grow? Minus another building that does it. But right now, all things being equal, minus funds to pay for those.
We have the one that's only at a 0.75. If we were able to increase that to a full-time, that would give us another 5 slots.
So right now it's resources, not space that is the major concern?
It's a little bit of both.
Okay.
I mean, if you're talking about the preschool program, that's a big space issue. We are maxed out of classrooms. We've got a lot of sheds in the back. We can maybe put some heaters in there. And for our prevention initiative program, because they do so much of it in the homes, they just really need an office space.
Okay.
But
That's good to know, because I think this program is great, and just making sure that, obviously, grants and funds will move slower, but we need to make sure that our side is ready and prepared to handle that growth as well.
Yeah. No, they just need kind of an office space, and they've got a lot of their materials stored kind of
Same
in
thing as
those
the
back
preschool
sheds,
though, but, that's what, 30, 40, someone that's way better than math than myself, percentage that don't get in, that's a really high waiting list.
That is a big number, and when we look at our kindergarten numbers, we typically are sitting in the 400s for kindergarten, and we have less than 200.
And that's a big ask. Like, could you imagine you're saying no to someone having education because of a wait? Like, that's hard. Cool, thank you.
Yeah.
You said we started with 60.
60 spots were what they originally wrote the grant for in 2011 and 12, and we're up to 105.
Because we started out with 2 parent educators.
Yeah. Any other questions?
Mrs. Anderson, thank you.
Thank you.
This started with us asking her 3 slides, and she was so excited that to share.
She brings handouts.
So she did a really good job.
And a plug.
Thank you.
I did want to say one more thing before we get too far away from it. One of the things that Dr. Erb didn't share that was shared at the Education Committee was the interventions and the proactive measures that the principals all went through because they look at this data and they take that seriously. So they went through and articulated all the things that they do to intervene in regards to behaviors and things, proactive measures. And the one that sticks in my brain the most is one of the principals noticed that there was a excuse me, there was a problem after school on the way home. So they started just walking home with the kids, until they got on the other side of, I don't remember, I think over, it's over by Windsor.
Yes.
Yeah, it was Windsor. And, yeah, they walked over where the problems were, then the problems stopped. Because there was somebody there paying attention to what they were doing. And, so, yeah, that they look at this data and that they do take proactive measures, and not just being reactive, I think is extremely important.
Yes, thank you for sharing, Mr. Smith.
Thank you. Josh Rand.
All right, thank you. I don't have a fancy PowerPoint tonight, so so nice. All right, so my first item tonight is a recommendation to approve a resolution declaring surplus property at the Harlem Administration Center. Next, I have a recommendation to approve a facility request for Six Flags Hurricane Harbor and Tri-M Music, which wants to host an Easter egg hunt on the field. So it's been a few years since we've had an Easter egg hunt on the field. Any questions about that? So my next item is a recommendation to accept the January 2023 Treasurers Report. It's the first month of one Treasurers Report, and as we continue to move down the path towards the end of the year, that picture becomes a little more clear, and as Kurt said, we referenced or went through that in a little more detail at business services, but interest and CPPRT are definitely helping us this year. Any questions on that? Okay, next is a recommendation to approve the Swanson Road Farm Rental Agreement with Curtis Greenlee. It says at a cost, but there's actually revenue of $4,800 for 2023. Yes, cost, it's income costs.
Is there anything to note on the potential usage of that, or is that still in discussion?
Still pretty early. Any questions on that rental agreement? Next is a recommendation to approve an agreement with Ox Blue for a time-lapse construction camera with client support for the Harlem High School CTE construction at a cost of $14,309. So this camera will do live viewing. It'll allow us to do time-lapse and put that up on the website as time progresses, and it's also security monitoring. So this is 15 months of live security monitoring, so that spot's kind of secluded, so if anything's going on at night, they'll call the police for us. We had a discussion of business services. We were looking at some of the amounts, and we ended up switching out the camera to a little bit better resolution camera, but it was about $2,000 less than what it was at business services. So I think this will do a great job of helping us secure that site and give us some historical video of the addition being built.
Is it in addition to what we already have?
Yep, so
at
this,
the high school?
Yep, so this is a totally separate camera. This is made for construction recording. So it uploads on 5G to the cloud, and then there's an app. So it's really not into our system, which is why it can do, a lot of this is AI, the software that can do the time lapse and the security monitoring.
And like you said, for the security monitoring, it's always being monitored, correct?
Yep.
Like 24/7.
Yes, and we would own this camera, so we could reuse it, or we could sell it if we choose to afterwards.
But we can't turn it on for Wi-Fi, and it will only work for their services. So potential future time lapses would come at a additional cost, unless there's security aspects of it. It's, what was it, slightly difference to keep it versus leasing it, and then we can still sell it.
Versus
We had to take a look to make sure that if we resold this thing, it wasn't locked into anything. That proved that we could still sell it to get a portion of it back. Yeah, no pan tilt zoom was the other one I noticed. And then, yeah, there's no Wi-Fi, unfortunately, in this thing at all, right? So it has to be, which makes sense that they would have Wi-Fi, because this thing is uploading basically 1080p shots every second, 24/7 for the entirety of this project. So the cost is still high, but there's not many solutions to kind of go off of it, and we do get the benefit of the security. I think that covers the cost, at least personally I feel. And then at least we get an artifact of having a time lapse. I think that's a nice bonus, but not the reason to spend 14 grand. I think the security, one or two instances, makes it worthwhile.
So why wasn't this part of the original proposal? Why would this be something that we're approving separate from approving the construction proposal?
Sure. So as we've gone down this road and we get closer to a groundbreaking, it became clear that this is to me, this became clear as something that we should have on site. Just because it's right by a bike path, there's not many people out there, and at night it's gonna be pretty dark. So we hadn't gotten far enough down that road to say, hey, we need a camera out there. We weren't ready to, at least I wasn't ready to look at cameras yet until we had all the details of what was going on.
Josh, I had a question.
Mhm.
So will this system alert if it goes off in the middle of the night? So say, will you guys have access to the
Yes.
application and it will send you an alert
I
that,
think we can set those
detection has
alerts
been
to,
motion.
to whatever we want it to be, but that same alert will also go to the people that are watching it from a security standpoint, but it's my understanding that we'll have motion. if
so
we
they have
want to.
somebody watching it
Yeah,
24/7?
it's monitored, yes. So when we're not there, if something pops up, they'll make that determination whether they call, if something looks funny or not.
I recommend it as well, since this is an app-based system with unlimited licenses, that somewhere it needs to be documented and that we're all made aware of who has access to that app. Because anytime there's a camera that's open and it's not public, we need to know who can access it, when they can access it, for all reasons.
Yeah.
That's
And
still a
everything is
privacy
stored
concern.
in their cloud too. So, on the time lapse, I think we could put that up every few months in terms of how it's progressing. And then at the end, you'll have a time lapse from beginning to end that can be a historical archive, and we can link that to everything that went into this building. So 20 years from now, you can see what that looks like.
So does this get us any kind of a break on insurance that we have to pay on the, I mean, do we get, isn't there some sort of liability insurance that we have to have for construction? Do we get a break on that?
I'm not aware, but I can ask for that.
Yeah, 'cause yeah, I'm sure we would have to have some sort of insurance to cover liability, or they do, and if they do, if they're the ones carrying the insurance, why aren't they paying for the security?
It's a good call out, Larry.
Well,
I think insurance pays for cameras typically in this scenario. But I can ask about a discount.
yeah, see if you can get about a $14,000.
Discount for full amount, I'll make it. I mean, at the end of the day, we don't ultimately have to do this, but I just think there's more pros of doing it than not.
100% there's more pros than
Yeah.
cons, that's for sure.
I can say I was walking into it completely opposed to it, but again, I think the cost, the time, the amount of data that's going into it, the benefit of just the security aspect is what at least changed my mind on it. Because again, I saw, what is it, 17?
It was
I
almost
came into
just
it
under,
also
yeah, yeah.
$17,000 camera
Right.
on the business services meeting, so.
We knocked like 2,500 off since then.
And again, that was the difference of the pan tilt zoom, where this is just a larger field of view.
Yeah.
They were putting it on where it was on the football field exactly?
Back into the scoreboard shooting towards where the new.
Yeah, so you can kind of fix and get a view that covered a large part of the area where your pan tilt zoom
And there's
really
power
didn't
there.
benefit anything to it.
And Josh, how much for the CTE project, like approximately?
It's gonna be about 13 million.
Yeah, I think for a cost like that, we need to have some type of security.
Oh, absolutely, I mean, if you check with construction sites and stuff, the theft ratio is absolutely ridiculous out there.
And if we don't need this after this, we can sell it to someone.
We've had good luck on Facebook Marketplace.
Let's see if Brian can sell it on Facebook. Are there any other questions on that? And just one note, I won't sign this until you guys have accepted all the CTE bids.
Okay.
So, and then I'll send it in, because from when we accept the bids till, the camera's about 2 weeks out, so it should get here a week or two before any groundbreaking happens, so. All right, my next item is a recommendation to approve a 2-year agreement with Teaching Strategies for preschool curriculum and online training for the early childhood education program at the high school at a cost of $4,277 paid for by the Education Pathways Grant. So we're paying for 1 year, we get 1 year free, as the memo notes. Any questions on that? All right, my next item is a recommendation to approve a membership renewal with the IHSA for for the 23-24 school year. I think that should just be a rolling thing.
Yeah.
Like an opt-out. But any questions on that? Okay, my last item, at Business Services, we had a recommendation to approve award auditing services bid to Baker Tilly at a cost of $60,000 for FY '23. That was about a 50% increase, so we've had some conversations after that. And due to that being a 50% increase, I'm recommending the board not award this tonight, or just vote it down, put this back out to bid. I'll give a little bit longer time window, and I'm confident that we'll get more bids, so that I can come back more competitive.
At Business Services, we were just like begrudgingly, what are you going
Yeah,
to do?
that's-
There's no options. If we feel confident, then there's really the runway to do this. I don't see the harm of trying to get more bids.
And I'll bring this at the April meeting back with a new bid.
Yeah, I kind of, yeah, there's always that possibility too, in discussion with where there's out there, with the possibility of the other time being shorter, my hope. Yeah, but again, it's really hard to, we did this with, trash services was another one where some of the competition went away. That one we had no real choice. At least there's still competitors out there, it's just not one.
Can we change the item then on the approval to recommendation to not award?
Graham, what do you think, or do they just
I
vote
think you
no?
just take it off, right, so in terms of your, what you vote up or down tonight, you just go
We just
through
strike.
1 through 7 and ignore 8.
Okay.
Make sure you note that in the motion.
Is everyone good with that?
Good with that?
Yeah.
All right, then that is my report, thank you guys.
Thank you. Dr. Wagner?
Good evening. I have the recommendation to approve the personnel agenda and addendum tonight. Before I go through them, a couple changes. On the addendum of resignations accepted, please strike Sydney Desario and Ashton Gustafson. And then please note that Connie Goodwin is listed on the addendum and the agenda because there's a date correction. So she's only retiring one time. We just wanted to make sure she was retiring at the right time. Alright. So overall, we have 16 resignations, 3 transfers, 4 leave of absence requests, 6 employments, 3 Federation Bank requests, and 3 new positions. 2 of them are paraeducators at Windsor Elementary because we've had 2 students move into the district who require individual assistance. The half-time registered nurse at Parker Center is also needed for a student who requires individual nursing assistance in the early childhood education program. We also have a recommendation to approve the resolution authorizing notice of dismissal and non-renewal of first, second, and/or third-year probationary teachers after closed session discussion. And we also have the recommendation to approve resolution authorizing notice of proposed reclassification of Principal Lisa Clark, again after closed session discussion. And that's all I have for you tonight.
Thank you. Dr. Yarbrough?
All right, thank you. The only thing I have to report on is we had one Freedom of Information Act request submitted on February 28th of this year, requesting information on library challenges, complaints for 2021 and 2022, and a district response dated March 2nd of this year. And that's all I have.
Thank you. All right, moving on to the consent agenda. 12A, can I get a motion and a second?
Wait, I'd like to pull that into closed session before we do that, please. 12A,
Yeah,
approve
12A.
personnel agenda and addendum.
No 12B, so 12C, approved facility requests. Can I get a motion and a second?
Motion. Second.
Jill Brogan?
Aye.
Mr. Thompson?
Aye.
Mrs. Brogan?
Aye.
Mrs. Ranieri?
Aye.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mrs. Meeks? Aye.
Okay, so we're just, for 13A, the scheduling of, since we don't have a new date or time yet.
Right.
We're just skipping it.
We'll get one.
Okay. 13B, approve first reading of February 21st, 2023 Policy Committee recommendations.
Motion.
Second.
Mr. Thompson?
Aye.
Mrs. Brogan?
Aye.
Mrs. Ranieri?
Aye.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mrs. Meeks? Aye. Jill Brogan?
Aye. 13C, approve school improvement plans, Parker Center, Maple Elementary, Olson Park Elementary, and Loves Park Elementary.
Motion.
Second.
Mrs. Brogan?
Aye.
Mrs. Ranieri?
Aye.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mrs. Meeks? Aye. Mr. Jill Brogan?
Aye.
Mr. Thompson?
Aye.
13D, approve resolution declaring surplus property.
Motion.
Second.
Mrs. Ranieri?
Aye.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mrs. Meeks? Aye. Jill Brogan?
Aye.
Mr. Thompson?
Aye.
Mrs. Brogan?
Aye.
13E, approve acceptance of January 2023 treasurer report.
Motion.
Second.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mrs. Meeks? Aye. Jill Brogan?
Aye.
Mr. Thompson?
Aye.
Mrs. Brogan?
Aye.
Mrs. Ranieri?
Aye.
13F, approve Swanson Road farm rental agreement with Curtis Greenlee at a revenue of $4,800 for 2023.
Motion.
Second.
Mrs. Meeks? Aye. Jill Brogan?
Aye.
Mr. Thompson?
Aye.
Mrs. Brogan?
Aye.
Mrs. Ranieri?
Aye.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
13G, approve an agreement with OxBlue for time-lapse construction cameras with client support for Harlem High School CTE construction at a cost of $14,309.
Motion.
Second.
Jill Brogan?
Aye.
Mr. Thompson?
Aye.
Mrs. Brogan?
Aye.
Mrs. Ranieri?
Aye.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mrs. Meeks? Aye.
13H, approve a 2-year program with teaching strategies for preschool curriculum and online training for the early childhood education program at the high school at a cost of $4,277, paid for by Education Pathways.
Motion.
Second.
Mr. Thompson?
Aye.
Mrs. Brogan?
Aye.
Mrs. Ranieri?
Aye.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mrs. Meeks? Aye. Jill Brogan?
Aye. 13I, approve membership renewal with ISHA, Illinois High School Association for the 2023-2024 school year.
Motion.
Second.
Mrs. Brogan?
Aye.
Mrs. Ranieri?
Aye.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mrs. Meeks? Aye. Jill Brogan?
Aye.
Mr. Thompson?
Aye.
Okay, let's see. We are not doing 13J. Any announcements and discussions? Okay, I would like to get a motion and a second to go into closed session or executive session to discuss employment of personnel, 5 ILCS 120-2C1, and then other matters relating to individual students, 5 ILCS 120/2C10.
Motion.
Second.
Mrs. Ranieri?
Aye.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mrs. Meeks? Aye. Jill Brogan?
Aye.
Mr. Thompson?
Aye.
Mrs. Brogan?
Aye.
We got a 5-minute break?
Sounds good.